welcome to my channel. My name's Dawn, the Reclusive Crafter, and today is No Waste Wednesday, and I've been having another rummage with all my bits and pieces to go through the Winter Wonderland Journal, which I'm still working on. And today I'm going to be using up bits and pieces that I've already used within the journal, and I've also pulled out some card stock that's been sat in my stash for forever and a day, and we're going to try and make use of some of that. So it's going to be a busy old session. I've pulled out some Christmas cards I'd like to make use of. Some pretty little Christmas cards there that I'd like to make use of, and I've also pulled out some napkins which might well work or not, I'm not sure. So yeah, I've got a whole host of stuff here that I'm looking to try and get used up within the journal one way or another. And to start with, you saw this part of the journal in my last video on Saturday. I've done a little tiny bit more. I've done just put a little Winter Wonderland sign on there, which is kind of cute. And then on the front panel, you may recall that I had this lace here, and I just felt the edges were a little bit too raw, so I had some of that, what's it called, glitter foam in my stuff that I've used for Christmases in previous years for decorations, making decorations and things, because I don't just do journals, I do all sorts of things. And I decided that it was quite a pretty colour actually to use in this journal. Now, you may well think that's a bit OTT, and possibly it is, I don't know, but I actually quite like it, and I just think it finishes off that edge really nicely. It takes away that raw edge of the lace, which I thought was nice. And I've also done a little journal card. I used one of the pictures that I've shown you previously. I've used a little wording out of the kit itself, and the little background there is the same as this, so it all kind of pulls in together. And then on the back, I just did a little bit of stenciling just to take off the blankness. I've just smudged that, but not to worry. And then obviously that can be used to journal on as well, because I've only done it very faintly. Okay, so that's as far as I've got. Oh, I'm telling fibs, that's not as far as I've got. I've made these two little items here. There's a little dangly, I don't know if you can see that, little dangly Santa Claus there, and then in here it's just a tiny little pocket, and I've put the owl on there, and that's backed with the silver glitter card, which is similar to what I've used on the front of the journal. And then I've also made a second little pocket here with a little disc in there with the rabbit on. And I thought I would, I'm saying thought because who knows, I could actually still change my mind yet. I thought these would go on here. So that's my thought. That one perhaps on there, like, oh, it was laying nice and flat. There we go. That one on there like that, with the little owl poking out, because he coincides with this guy here. And then this one just in this corner here, just to take away the bareness a little bit. I'm not sure if I want to put a little word or something on there as well, maybe. I don't want to go overboard, I don't want to over embellish, but sometimes words can just take a little bit of blank spot out a little bit. Maybe that one with a little bit of background on it, not sure, thinking about it. We'll come back to that. And then I've got loads of other stuff all over my desk at the moment, so I am definitely going with these here, and I'm going to make some more of these, so I'm going to try and get those done in this video if I can, to show you how I did them. I'm going to stick these ones down before I change my mind about what I'm doing with them, because I do have a tendency to think, oh no, let's do that instead. So let's make a start and get this down. I hope you are all very well. Yeah, it's midweek. Always love midweek because it means I haven't got long to next weekend, which is nice. Let me just make sure I've got plenty of glue on here, because again, quite a few of these things I'm using in this journal are quite thick, so they need to make sure that they get a good purchase. I'm going to pop that one on there. He's very lovely. I like him a lot. I think it's because of the Harry Potter influence, if I'm honest. So I'll pop that one on there. And this one, I'm not sure if I want just a tiny little word on there. Maybe a word there instead of there. But then I just feel the word needs backing with something. Not sure. No, I'm leaving that for now. Let me just pop this one on. Ooh, I've just had an idea. I wonder if, where's those little tags? There they are. Maybe if I did that and I could just put that, tuck that in there like that. We're going to go with that. So my glue has decided to make a mess everywhere, so let's just clean that off. It's oozing a little bit today. It must be the atmospherics. Right then, so if I'm going to use that as a little tuck, I want to do that side. And that side. There we go. Let me pop that down there, and I'm going to use that one as a little tuck, which I think will be rather nice. So I'm going to do a little bit more on this. I might back it with something at the moment, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to slip that there just to remind myself what I'm doing. So I'll leave that there for now. And then I wanted a little something on here, but I'm not too sure at the moment what I want on there. So while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make these and just show you how I did them. Let me just pop that on there so that doesn't ooze again. So let me make myself some space. I've kind of got all wrapped up in things. My ideas have splurged all over my desk. Right then, so I have cut these little bits out in readiness because I want to make these two. So I need one that size for the backing. So this one is 2.5 inches, which is 63 millimeters, and it's 2.5 inches wide, which again is 63. So it's basically a 2.5 inch square on that, and all I've done is rounded the corners there, and that makes the backing for that particular pocket. So that's that one. And then I needed some of this and some of this one, and this was, that's 2.25 inch, which is 5.5 centimeters. So 2.25 inch, and I think it's 2.25 inch. Yeah, it's 2.25 inch. So I need a 2.25 inch square out of this one. Let me just get my trimmer and cut that. And that's not big enough. 2.25 seems awfully wide. Wow. No, it is. It's 2.25. That piece isn't quite wide enough. So I'm going to go with this one. So I'm just going to cut this piece down. 2.25 there. And then I want 2.25 again. that way round. Okay, and that gives me the bit behind the little card. Let me take that out so that we can see what we're doing. That gives me the piece behind that little card. I'm just going to round that corner off there. That's that one. So that now gives me that. Okay, so that goes on. What one does it go on? Okay, too many bits around. So that one goes on there like so. Like that. And then I've used the darker one as the little pocket section. And this one is, let's have a look, this one is, it's 1.5 deep, and then I allowed for the gussets to go round as well. So I'm going to go with 1 3/4, which will give me a 1/4 inch gusset. So 1 3/4 deep, and it needs to be 2.5, I think, 2.5 wide. Yeah, let me just cut that and see what that looks like. So 1.5 deep. So 1.5 deep. I'm not going to cut all of that at 1.5, so I'll do the depth first. I can't remember what I said now for the depth. Oh, it was 1.5, so that's 1 3/4 of depth. So 1 3/4 for the depth gives me that. Well, that's not. Oh. Ah, I've done that the wrong way around. Silly Billy. I was going to do the width first, wasn't I? So 2.25, 2 3/4. Let's try that one again. So 2 3/4, which is there, and then it was the 1 3/4. I think that is 1 3/4 is there, and then it gives me the 1/4 inch. Excuse me while I just get my scoring bit. Oops, and now I'm going to score this just 1/4 inch on 3 sides. So that's 1, that's the 1/4 there, 2, and that one there, which is 3. So that gives me my gussets. And I just need a little punch. Just going to fold these over like so, and I'm going to, where's my little scissors? There they are. Just going to miter those edges. That's that one and that one and that one. That'll just take a little bit more off of there, and just a tiny little bit more off of there. That's better. Okay, and then I just want to pop a little thumb notch in here. Gosh, I feel fingers and thumbs today. Just eyeballing that to about there. Pop. There we go. That's maybe not as deep as the other one, but it's good enough. And then I'm going to just ink this round before I put it together, just to take off those white edges. That's that bit done. Nice. And I'm going to ink round this one as well. That's that one done. And I'm just going to go around just the edge, just to take that white rawness off of the edge, just so that it all ties in together. That's that one done. Okay, and now we're going to pop that on there. But we're going to pop it on the right side, which is nice. So that now fits on there. Rather lovely. That's good. Okay, just want to give that a bit more ink there. Okay, and now I'm going to glue that. I've taken this thing off because it drives me bonkers. That's that one. Autumn is really beginning to set in out there. God, I took the dog for a walk this morning. It was freezing. And I have done my usual trick. I'm just not taking that little edge off there. Just going to take that little edge off there, just to miter that edge a little bit. By doing that, it just gives you a little bit of a nicer finish. There we go. Get wolfed. Alrighty, so I'm just going to stick that now on there. Just line it up with the edges. And my measuring was pretty much spot on there, which is nice. It's not always. I usually cut things out about 3 times to get it right. Right then, and then this one just sits on there. So it's really very, very easy. It really is just a case of layering your papers and making a little pocket out of it. I'm going to pop that one on there. Sorry, I need to be more conscious of being in shot for you, don't I? Sometimes I'm aware that when I look at the videos after I've done them, I'm working at the bottom of the screen, which isn't great. So I'm going to pop that with a little bit of an edge around there. Just pop that on. Pop that on there. I'm not sure this is going to stick very well actually. I used the Fabri-Tac on that one and it stuck very easily, but I haven't used the glitter glue on this, or rather I have used the glitter glue on this, and I'm not sure how well it will stick on this glitter, to be fair. It doesn't seem to want to take to it. And glitter glue, yeah, you see that doesn't want to play on there, so I'm going to go to plan B. Let me just put the top on that. I'm going to go to plan B and use the Fabri-Tac, which I found worked a lot better on the glitter paper. Let's pop that one instead. Give me a better hold. That's better. You can feel it holding as soon as you put it on. This is the beauty of having different types of glue when you're crafting, because not all glues work with everything. Okay, so that's that one done. And then I had pulled out a little eyelet. I wonder if I can find it in amongst the wreckage on my desk. It was here, but it seems to have disappeared. No, I can't see it. Oh well, not to worry. It'll turn up the same as it did this morning. Right then, so that's that one done, as you can see. So that's now ready to go on the inside back flap. So I'm going to come all the way over here. And this one, oh, now I don't want to put that there because that will cover up that house. Maybe I'll put that one, there and not have the smaller one. Or maybe I'll put that. Gonna have to do a bit of rethinking because I don't want to cover up my house because I like that. Maybe I'll put it centrally about there ish, and then put the other one maybe here, or maybe just have one of them. Don't know. That's going to go there anyway, so I'm going to leave that one there. I will therefore. Do I want to make another one of those then? Don't know. Okay, we'll work on something else. So that's that. I want to do a journal card, a nice big journal card for in here. And I did dig out, where's it gone? I did dig out that, and I thought, that's very pretty, isn't it? I thought that might look lovely as a journal card, perhaps, in there. With something from the kit. Yeah, let me have a look and see. I'm going to cut this first. Let me cut it to the size I want it. So I reckon no more than about 5 1/4 inches wide and about 7 1/2 deep. So 5 1/4 by 7 deep. Five and a quarter. That's that one. And 7 deep. Let me just pull this out. 7 deep will be there. Take that bit off, which leaves a nice little trim there to do some further embellishment with, which would be nice. And then that goes in there rather nicely. I could have actually done that a little bit taller, I think. That'll be okay. Maybe if I just don't push it down as far. That's pretty, isn't it? So, I want to put something to embellish it on top. I'm just going to have a quick look through. What else have we got? Oh, we've got the deer. I could... Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be lovely. And then it would give me a double bit of journaling, because that could also be used for journaling on the front as well as the back. I want to leave a good gap though, because I want to be able to see some of this design. So it was, what was it? It was 7, and so if I do maybe 5. 5 3 1/4. What will that give me? 5 3 1/4. I think that'll be perfect. So let me cut that down to size. The lovely thing is if I don't like it, I can always print off more, which I generally end up doing anyway, if I'm completely honest. So I want 5 by 3 1/4. So 5 is there, which gives me another bit, and 3 1/4. I'm just going to trim that little edge off there because I don't really want a second edge on it. So I'm going to trim that little edge off there, and I think I'll take that little edge off there as well before I trim it down. The lighting today is horrible. It's really dark and dismal outside. Oh, I'm not going to cut a lot with that, am I? That's my scoring bit. Just take that little bit off there. Oh, that missed it nicely, didn't it? Why did that miss that then? Don't want to cut his legs off. Let's try that one again. That's better. Okay. Just tidy that up a little bit. And then I said 3 1/4, which will be there. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Have I left too much of a border? Not sure. Let me round the edges. It might look nicer if I round the edges. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to round the edges on this guy as well. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's have a look at that. That looks nicer. I just feel it needs something else round it. I feel it needs something else round it. What about a little bit of blue maybe? Oh, I know what I can use. I know what I can use. I've either got this one or I've got the dark blue. So let's have a look at the combination here. So if I've got that and then that, I'm not sure about that. Or I've got this one, which is, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but that's kind of almost got a metallic sheen to it. What does that look like? Well, there's only one way to find out. I'm going to cut it down and see what it looks like. I think I do prefer this one. So I'm going to cut it down. So 5. So I want that to be 6 deep. And 4 1/4, I think. 6 deep and 4 1/4. 6 deep and 4 1/4. And I'm not sure what time I started today. So this video might be an hour long, it might be 6 hours long. 6 deep, and I said 4 1/4, didn't I? Let's try for 4 1/4. So that's that one, and then that's that one. That looks nice. I do like that. Yeah, we're going to go with that one. And I'm going to round off the corners again. That's that one. And now we're going to be doing layering. So that one will go on there, like that, and that one will go on there. That's lovely, like that. We're going to go with that. Ta 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 ta. Oh, it's the same both sides. I didn't realise that. Let's shake my glue down. Glooby dooby doo. I think my Fabri-Tac's getting a bit gloopy. There we go. That's that one on there. I'll lay that one down. I'm only eyeballing it. I'm just trying to get it roughly centrally. Is that about right? Looks ish. Yep, I think so. That's that one. And now we're going to put Mr. Deer on here, but we are just going to pop a little bit of edging round. I'm not going to lie, I very nearly forgot then. I think you guys must have been shouting at me and the vibes came through. Thank you. That's that one. Okay. Get my gloopy glue on here. That's that one done. Okay, now just pop that on there. Straighten him up a little bit. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Love that. Just want a little label or something on there, I think. I do, or do I want a little label, or do I want him on there? No, that's too much. So, I want a little label. Nope, don't like that. Oh gosh, I really despair sometimes. My thoughts are just horrendous. Does that work? That looks nice. Happy with that. Just going to trim that down slightly. Very slightly. Just take off that little edge there. Oh, I'm covered in glue. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. And take that down just marginally there. Not too much. Just going to straighten that up as well. I don't think it looks straight. Might just be my eyes. Okay, and now that should fit on there a little bit better, which I think it does. Lovely. Just give it a little edge. Oops. I'm a bit sniffy again today. I don't know why. I quite often get a bit sniffy, but I don't actually get a cold. It's a bit bizarre. And I also want to just round these little edges here, just to make them look a bit nicer. There we go. That's lovely. And I'll just pop a little bit of blue around there just to take that white edge out. That's that one done. So, oh gosh, look, it's all glue. Why is it so gloopy today? It's yucky. Oh, where's my cloth gone? Let me grab one. Ah, there we go. Alrighty, let's pop that on there. That's that, and then I think I will pop that there. Which will look very lovely. Very nice indeed. Pop a little bit of glue on there. And we're going to pop that down there. There, I like that. That's nice. Now I'm just wondering whether or not just to do a little bit of blue around the total edge, but I don't know what that's going to look like, so I'm just going to grab this and just test a bit before I do it on there. Do I like that? I think I do actually. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Okay. So I'm going to pop a little bit of blue. This is going to be the bluest journal in the whole world. I'm going to pop a bit of blue around there. That looks lovely. Love this holographic design on here. I didn't even know I had this, to be honest with you. If you've seen one of my previous videos, you may recall that I got a huge haul from a lady who was selling up an awful lot of her craft stuff. And I got bags and bags and bags of stuff, literally for a song. It was an absolute song. And I'm not going to lie, I've literally brought it all home when I got it, popped it in a drawer, or popped what I could in various drawers because there was so much of it. And I haven't really been through everything, and I've been having a little bit of a rummage recently for my videos, for the Stash Busting Saturday and also No Waste Wednesdays, and I'm finding all these beautiful things that I've got, which a lot of it I didn't even know I had, to be fair. So this is lovely, and for this journal it just lends itself so beautifully, doesn't it? And I'm going to pop that in there. Ta-ta! Gorgeous, huh? That is really lovely. Just want a little something down here. I wonder if I put the little deer, which would coincide. That's quite cute, isn't it? I'm going to go with that. Going to do my little bit of buttoning down there. Again, I'm at the bottom of the camera, so there we go. And we're going to pop him there. perfect. That is just lovely, isn't it? Really lovely. Very happy with that. Now for this one, I am going to have to do another print off for that one, because I don't think, unless I can make that one work, which, because this is the only other one that I've got now that hasn't been used. Oh, let me just put that glue top on. Where's it gone? I've lost it. Oh, here it is. There we go. What a donut, honestly. There we go. Let me pop that over there out of the way for now. Let me have a look, see. I can't remember, oops, what the measurements were for that, for this one. It was 5 by 3 1/4. Okay, so what would that be then? So that would be 5, which would come up to there, and 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 would just get his head in, and 5, actually that would work. I could use him, because the 5 would come up to there, and then because I've put this on, it will cover up that spacing there, wouldn't it? So I'm going to use him, so that will be another one to use. So I'm going to make another one of these up. So let me just move that. Right, so we want, oh gosh, I can't, I'm going to have to write down my things, because my memory is shocking and I can't remember the sizes. So we said 5 by, so we want a 5 by 3 1/4, and we want a 6 by 4 1/4, which makes that 7, no, yes, 7, and we want a 7 by 5 1/4. Right, let's see if I can cut those. Let's move this out of the way for now. Let's move that over there for now, out of the way, and let's cut these down. So let's do the big bit first. That's 7 by 5 1/4. Oh no, it's not going to be big enough, is it? Yes it is, you being a donut. 7 by 5 1/4. Yeah, it will be big enough. Phew, I thought for a minute then it wasn't going to be big enough. Okay, and that gives me another lovely little thing to do something with there. So 7 by 5 1/4. That's that one. So that's the big bit. And then what did I do with the, what did I do with the shiny bit? There it is. Seriously, I'd lose my head. Right then, this one needs to be 6 by 4 1/4. So that will be the middle piece. And then this one needs to be 5. I'm just going to take off the little white edges on this first of all, so we don't need the white edges. So I'm going to take that off of there. Take that one off of there. we want 5 by 3 1/4, so we want 3 1/4 that way. Just wondering whether or not to take that edge off. I think I will. I'm going to take that little bit of an edge off first. Don't want to take too much off. There we go. And now I want 3 1/4 that way. And then 5 this way. And that will be my centerpiece. That works beautifully, doesn't it? Ha, fantastic. Love it. Love it when a plan comes together. Right then, let me just do the corners. And now you can see why my journals take so long for me to do. My thought processes are really painful at times. Do this one. But it does eventually all come together, I'm pleased to say. That's that one done. There we go. Right then. Pop that in there. So we want to put that one on there and that one on there. And I'd like to have a look at what wording I've got. So that's Precious Memories. So if I have memory keeping on there, and I just need a little bit of a background for it. So I've got this little scrap here, which I think is just about big enough actually. So that's nice. I'm going to trim this up. Okay. So where does it need cutting? So that needs to be, okay, just slightly in from that circle piece. So if I cut that a little bit further in than that, will that give me enough room? No, it needs to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to take it to about there, I reckon. Okay, let's do that one then. And then let's go with that. How does that work? That's better, isn't it? Much better size. Yay. Okay, I'm going to tidy that little corner up there a little bit. That's it. Marvellous. Okay, I'm going to get me inky dinkies out. Just take off the white core. Just keeping an eye on the time, guys, because I'm really not sure what time I started this video, so I'm guessing I must be getting close to having to call it a day, really. I don't feel like we've done a lot, but at least you've seen some of the process and how I put things together. is lovely, isn't it? Very beautiful. There we go. That's that one done. That's those two done. That doesn't need it. And we're going to pop a little bit of ink around this one. This was a real find, actually. I'm really pleased about that. It's so pretty and so in keeping with what I'm doing, which is nice. Did I ink? I didn't ink the back, but I will do. I'm not sure I did on the other one. I'm just going to check that. Just to give it its border. Make it look nice. Right, let me just see it. I did not do this one, so let me just do this one while I've got my ink out right as well. There we go. Right, that's the ink done, and now I'm just going to pop it together. And then once I've done that, I shall put them in the journal, and I think we need to call it a day, because I've definitely been on here long enough to call it a video, but I'm not quite sure how long I've been on, to be honest. Excited by this journal. And that is part of today's efforts. Aren't they beautiful? Very happy with those. Let's just slip them in the journal. So, oh no, he goes at the back, doesn't he? Because you've got your deer on yours. So that one will now go in there. So that's a beautiful journal card for in there. And this one will go in here, like so. And then these, I think I might just go with one on there actually, and I might put the other one on there. Not sure. I'll have to have a think about it. So I think I'm going to call that a day, guys. I just need to put the trims down here, the same as I did on that side, just to tidy those edges up. I'd like to do. And I will see you all again soon. So have a really good rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you all again on Saturday. Take care, everybody. Thanks for your time.